Alright everyone, welcome to the Enchant Bear Sorc build for Project Diablo 2 Season 4 Beta. So with this patch, at least at the time of making this, Bear Maul AoE has been changed to add 20% more. So I wanted to try that out and see how it worked with a Chant Sorc, since I've made a Chant Bow Sorc in the past and it was extremely powerful. So additionally, Maul, which is the primary attack we're going to be using, the damage scaling was increased from 30% to 40% per charge, so roughly a 30% fizz, 33% fizz damage increase. While we're not doing a whole ton of fizz, we are doing a decent amount, so we'll just get into it. So for the skill tree, so the primary skills are going to be in fire here. So we have warmth, enchant fire, fire mastery, all maxed, and then one into the prerequisites. Nothing into the lightning tree, although what you could do is put one into teleport. However, you won't be able to teleport as bear, but you will be able to teleport around and then turn back into a bear. So kind of player's choice there. And then the rest of your points, so you're going to dump, you're going to max into cold enchant, get one into the prereqs for chilling armor, and then one into cold mastery, and then dump the rest into chilling armor. Fairly straightforward. As far as stats go, so I have enough strength to wear all my gear. I got around 139 dex. This is going to depend on some of your gear, but ultimately, just enough dex to wear your gear is not going to be enough, just for attack rating purposes. So this got me up to around like 90% or so attack chance, and then past that, I feel like there is a big drop off, and from there you're going to be increasing your block chance. If you're familiar with bear block chance, the fast rate recovery frames are pretty crap, and the block rate frames are pretty crappy, so you don't want to block too much. So just watch how much dex you put in there, but you're going to want it probably around like 85-90% chance to hit, and then dump the rest into vitality. Aside from that, we'll go with the merc gear. So infinity merc, pretty standard with any elemental build, and then pretty standard merc gear otherwise. Nothing crazy there. However, getting into my gear, that's when this is not a beginner build. This is something for someone if you're gonna have a decent amount of wealth, in a few weeks, months here. So I have a beast here. This is a perfect roll. Again, I realize a lot of this stuff is best in slot, like best in slot corruptions and everything, which is unrealistic for most players. However, I wanted to showcase what you can work towards. There are definitely some substitutions you can make, and the scaling is what makes a Chant Sorc. So showing what the top end is capable of gives an accurate representation of what you can do with this. So, and then I have a 2-socket Andariel's Visage with a +1 skill slam with the 2 fire facets in there. I also have the same with the +1, and then on the Arcane's Valor, and then 2 runes in there to help out with some resists. I have the +1 slam on the Maras. I have a random Phoenix. War Tribes of CBF. CBF is pretty important here because you can get it on the rings if you want, but it's advisable to get it on the boots. Otherwise, in the main gear, so I have a Wisp and an SOJ. Both of those, the +1 is what I am getting with there. However, with the Wisp, the Heart of the Wolverine is actually fairly useful on this, again, for the AR purposes, the attack rating. So, with that said, you can do a Wisp. I would highly recommend a Wisp, but then the other one, you can do an SOJ, you can do a BK, either one for the +1 skills. The BK is going to give you a little more sustain. The SOJ is going to be a little more damage because of the lightning, albeit very slight. So feel free to play around with that, but as far as the corruptions, I feel like you would want to look for, the all-res or the faster run walk, or maybe MF if you're looking for that. Other than that, I have the Nosferatu's Coil with an IAS slam, and then Mage Fist with an IAS slam. And then getting into some of the other gear. So as far as buffs go, you know, CTA on swap, it's pretty standard. But the other things that aren't, so I have just any arachnid, it's only used for the +1. So put that guy on there. And then, so I'm using here, I have a Mang Song, you know, with 6 5/5 fire facets, which I realize is a trophy in itself. And, you know, if there's one this ladder, then that's awesome. But chances are there's probably not even going to be one this ladder, especially with a base enemy fire resistance starting at 29. Anyway, you can also look for a Enchant orb. You know, you can get +7, +8 on them, you know, with the +1 slam, or you can get like a, you know, the plus fire damage minus enemy fire res, you know, slam, you know, with maybe an innate modifier for enemy fire, or for fire damage, and then, you know, +2 Sorc, +3 Enchant, +3 warmth, +3 fire mastery. You know, looking for a combination of those, looking for at least a +7, +8 with potentially 1 or 2 sockets, or well, 3 sockets, using a Jared Stone, or you know, one of the other, like dimensional shards, or the exceptional version. Can't remember that one. So, you know, keeping in mind, you know, Mang Song is not best in slot for an enchant pre-buff. You know, a good orb is going to be your best, with a +3 lidless with 2 fire facets. Since I'm not using that, I'm not even worried about it here. That's just for the bow. So that said, we'll go ahead and get the buffs going. So it's just this. So, and then we're going to put that back on. Yeah, so that's it for the buffs. You know, other than that, you know, we have the chilling armor, and then turning into the bear form. You know, other than that, F1 and F2 for Maul and Hunger. Just looking at the stat page here, so what we're gonna take a look at real quick is down here the FHR. This is kind of what makes or breaks this build, I feel like, which is why the Arcane's Valor is extremely helpful on here with the +40 faster hit recovery, and you know, keep in mind this is also a +1, or 1 per level vitality, which is just an incredible item. If you can get this, by all power to you. Anyway, so I got 40 from there, and then the Flyer Skillers, I have 4 faster hit recovery charms, and then the rest are lifers. All these are life and all res, with an Annie and a torch. Pretty good Annie. Torch. Anyway, looking at the added damage on here, so you can see roughly, you know, 60% of our damage is fire, 40% is fizz. Keeping in mind, we also have from the hunger, so 52% chance of critical strike. That's not going to show on the tooltip here, but you know, that's going to be double damage for that. You know, 16, 67 to 18, 10 damage. And then also with the lifesteal and the movement speed. So, you know, this is a fairly quick build, fairly safe build, you know, once you can get to the right scaling. So, you know, with that said, you know, there's not a whole lot else to kind of talk about with this. You know, there's definitely some upgrades that, you know, probably could be made, some different items swapped out, you know, but, you know, kind of dealer's choice, kind of play around with it. This is beta, so, you know, that's what we're doing here. So we'll jump into the map real quick. So this is just a random Throne of Insanity. It's nothing crazy. You know, obviously just avoid fire absorb, avoid magic absorb, and the fetishes are probably going to be pretty tough, but otherwise, you know, anything with fire res, or fire immune is going to be fairly tough for you. And then obviously, you know, I do not have capped res even with all this gear, so you know, there are definitely areas where, you know, it could probably be improved, but if you're looking for like a mapping build for either solo or team play, this is really good. Solo, it's going to run through basically anything you can throw at it, aside from if you go into a river blood map where there's a whole bunch of knights, you know, that are fire immune. But otherwise, this is what we have, and then yeah, we'll just get into it here. So it's fairly straightforward with the right click, and you know, moving about. So get that hunger going. And then, yeah, like I said, it's just right click the entire time and just stopping. So yeah, we're gonna see if this lasts. I have a feeling by making this video, we may see a nerf for it, but you know, whatever. Don't want to get something too broken to make it to the season. It's kind of what beta testing is for. So. Yeah, if anyone has any other suggestions for, you know, how this build could be improved, I'd be happy to hear it. But overall, it's doing a ton of damage. It's got a good amount of survivability. You see almost 2k health there. You know, 15k armor, and then, you know, 90% chance to hit. And then a 28% chance to block, which is intentional. Alternatively, you could go with a storm shield for the damage reduction and the resists, and just the overall survivability. Keep in mind, you're not going to want. You're going to want to play around with the. You're going to want to play around with the block chance, because the bare block chance sucks. The frame rate suck for it. So overall, it's not exactly, I wouldn't say, the most complicated build. There's only 2 items to swap, which is really nice for a Chancellor. Again, really good for solo play, as you can see here. But this is definitely an endgame build. Do not start with this. You will not have fun. It will be awful until you can get to a certain point and everything starts to scale. So yeah, with that said, I'm curious to know some feedback. Obviously, this is very endgame stuff here, which is not going to be, suitable for everyone. But, I'm not looking to make a guide for everyone all the time. So, yeah. Oh, Merc died there. Anyway, that's the build. Let me know what you think.